Hey, what's good, y'all? I got another video for you. I don't talk too much about what ongoing manga series I read on my Instagram page, so I decided to make a video showing the series I try keeping up with and reading weekly or monthly or however often they release. The first on that list is Midnight Children by Shinichi Sakamoto, the GOAT. He's pretty much already solidified himself as like a GOAT in the manga community, with having both Innocent and Climber in my top 20, Climber being in my top 10 somewhere. Midnight Children is still very early in, there's only like 8 chapters or something like that. The art is like as great as you would expect, and honestly, I think the series has like a higher ceiling when it comes to art because of like having somewhat of a supernatural theme. It gives him like more freedom to do as he wants. There's already been several amazing panels and pages too, and we're gonna get a ton more. It's way too early to say anything about the story, as like we're not very far in and it's still barely cohesive at this point, so I can't rate it just yet. Akebi Sailor Uniform. It's a pretty weird manga. It's fully slice of life, pretty much every chapter is something new. The art is probably like top 5 of any art style in any manga ever, especially the colored sections. It has a whimsical and like common feeling to it. It's a fun read. It updates pretty inconsistently, I think, though. Maybe every month, I'm not sure. I believe it comes from the same mangaka that made Super Cub, which had an anime 2 seasons ago, and it was really good. They have the same tone and atmosphere, so if you like that, you definitely like this. Akebi-chan is like a 7 out of 10 for me, I'd say. Blue Box. The one shot for Blue Box was much better than what we're currently receiving right now. It got weekly Shonen Jumpinized, the art is rushed, and they changed several aspects from the one shot that made it like way more of a generic story now. It's just a regular romance. It'll get an anime soon probably because it's doing really well as a weekly Shonen Jump series, even though it really doesn't deserve it. I give Blue Box probably a 5 out of 10. My Hero Academia. It's been really good lately. I'm only like 2 or 3 chapters behind. It's never been anything special for me, and I'm not particularly like roped into it, but I have a pretty good time whenever I decide to catch up. It's like the recent chapters or whatever at the time. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Die Dark, Day Dark, however you want to say it. It's from the creator of Doro. This is about as wacky as you'd expect, and I love that, man. The characters are really great so far. It's really funny at times. It has like that really cool sketchy art style as well. It doesn't currently have too many chapters yet, but from what I remember, the chapters are a bit longer, and we're actually pretty decently far into the series for what 20 chapters would give you usually. It's a really fun read. I give it an 8 out of 10. Dead Demon's Destruction. I read it when it had like 20 chapters originally and never caught up until like pretty recently. It's definitely a top 3 ongoing manga for me though, if it's considered ongoing right now. It seems to have only a few chapters left, and I can't wait to get those. I love the route it took with the 2 main characters. I genuinely was like not expecting what they were about to do. And it's Inyo Asano, of course. The art is great, and this is probably going to end up his best in terms of art. It's a weird story at first, but it gets good really fast. 9 out of 10 for me currently, but I'd say with a good ending, 10 out of 10 is not too far away. Grand Blue. Probably the funniest manga, and probably the only one that's actually made me laugh out loud other than Prison School, but after the ending of Prison School, I will not be showing it love anymore. Every time a new chapter of Grand Blue drops, it's funny and makes you want the next chapter. One of my favorite casts for sure. I love every character, and it also has great art pretty much every chapter. Grand Blue sits at probably above a 9 out of 10 for me right now. Hajime no Ippo, one of my earliest favorite manga. It's nice to know this manga never really dips in quality and only gets better. The fights are great, the drama in between the fights are great, and there's such a wide variety of amazing characters. Hajime no Ippo is like without a doubt my favorite sports manga, and probably it's for most people who read it too. I really like where they've gone recently, and I'm excited for new chapters. I'll give it like a 9.3 out of 10. Land of the Lustrous. I guess it counts as ongoing. The stretch of manga that comes after chapter 40 or so, it's about as good as any manga could get. Foss's growth and change alone is very interesting and fun to watch. Like as you get a deeper look into it, it gets even more interesting. It has an amazing world set up already, unique art, and all around it's a unique series. Land of the Lustrous I'd say is about a 9 out of 10. Nagatoro-san. The last few chapters have actually been pretty decent. There's been actual progress and Nagatoro hasn't been unbearable. It's still a pretty bad series and sometimes it's even like pretty fucking hard to read. But there's always worse. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Love is War. There's not much to say about Love is War anymore. Check out my last video if you want to hear me speak on it, but I'd give it a 9 out of 10. A Couple of Cuckoos. I actually haven't read this for a while. I was like, the route the manga took was like fucking boring, man. I cannot keep up with it weekly. The beginning is pretty fun, but that's pretty much it. It's just a regular rom-com with no substance. It's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Rent a Girlfriend. A series that's been releasing the exact same chapter for over a year. Everyone knows not to expect anything new, the main character is unbearable, and if he wasn't such a pussy, this manga would have been like fucking over 70 chapters ago. I don't really like any of the characters or any of the girls in the series, and it's literally waifu culture that's single-handedly keeping the series afloat. There's no other reason. I don't believe anyone thinks the series is actually good. The best part of the series is literally the colored promotional artwork of the girls. So like I feel like I have to give it a 2 out of 10. Insomniacs After School. If there's a word to describe the series, it's comfortable. This is a comfortable series to read. I really like the two main characters and their relationship is really fun to watch because like they don't grow closer in the typical manga ways. The last volume released was a masterpiece. That shit was amazing and I cannot wait for the next one. The art may seem like lazy at first, but once it grows on you, you'll become to like really appreciating it. I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10. The Apothecary Diaries. Amazing art and the coloring is addicting just to look at. I remember a while ago a couple of people were complaining that like the actual science and medicine didn't make too much sense, but like I don't really give a shit. I'm just here to see Mao Mao be a badass. And I think the ancient China settings are typically like extremely boring as we've seen it like a million times, but I really like how it's shown here, even if it's not completely accurate. I'd give the manga a high 8 out of 10. Made in Abyss. I was actually kind of lost in the recent chapters as like they take forever to release, and I forget what happened prior. I'm probably just gonna end up rereading the whole series next time a chapter drops just so I know exactly what's going on. But even without that, Made in Abyss is an amazing series and it keeps getting better. 9 out of 10. Oshinoko. Pretty much an idol isekai. The beginning is really interesting, it starts really fast. The characters are all really interesting and it's fun seeing into the entertainment side of Japan like how it's shown in the series. The art is good of course, the author Aka Akasaka doesn't always make great stories, but the art is always great. I'm not caught up anymore, but I'll definitely catch up soon. I'd give it like a high 7 for what I've read so far. Witch Hat Atelier. It has some of the best art I've ever seen, but I feel like not too much is happening considering how many chapters are out so far. But the slow pace, it definitely fits the series. The magic system is about as good as a system could even get in manga, as they really go like diving really far into detail. The characters are really interesting so far, and I think it'd be a massive hit if it got an anime. High 8 out of 10. Takagi Moto version. It's Takagi, but in the future where her and Nishikata are married and have a daughter. It's got like a similar charm to something like Yatsubaro. Short chapters and just something you could turn your brain off and have some fun reading. But I can't really give it a rating for what it is. Sora Demo Ayumu. It really picked up recently. The past couple chapters have been amazing and we're actually seeing a lot of progress. The art is a bit better here than Yamamoto's other masterpiece of a series, but the characters aren't quite as likable as in that series yet. It's getting an anime really soon and I'm really excited for that. I hope fucking everyone watches it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for sure. Takagi-san. Definitely the best manga releasing at the moment, no doubt. I don't think a chapter below 10 out of 10 has ever been released in the series. It's a very intricate series. It has many complex thoughts and views on various philosophies that like it might fly over your head on a first read. It has to be a 10 out of 10. Now there's some other ongoing manga that I read that I didn't include in this video, so make sure to check out my recent videos. I didn't want to be too redundant with the series I use in my videos, and I don't want to feel like I'm talking about the same ones, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's it guys. Thanks for watching. Another video will be coming soon. Make sure to subscribe and check out my Instagram as well.